Welcome back, dear travelers of feeling and loyal subscribers of Whispers of Turkish Stars. We live in a time when love burns fast and fades even faster, yet some tales refuse to be rushed, as if destiny itself scribbled them in the margins of our lives. Today the spotlight pivots toward one of the most followed, most whispered about figures on Turkish screens, Gökberk Yildirim. What is unfolding behind his closed doors has crossed the border from rumor to a saga of longing, remorse, and the hope of renewal. He stands in the center of the storm, pulled between the roots of a shared history with a former partner and the blaze of a love he believes could last forever with Cemre. Before we untangle this knot, join our circle. Subscribe, tap the bell so you don't miss a heartbeat of this unfolding drama, and if you want to support our investigations and enjoy exclusive content, the join button is waiting for you. Are you ready to step into the mind of a man in love yet bound by ties he cannot cut? Let's begin. The Turkish entertainment world, accustomed to polished press notes and polite grins, has been jolted by an unexpected dose of candor. Gökberk, usually a vault when the spotlight invades his personal life, has allowed a sliver of truth to escape. The words attributed to him in the most private corners of Istanbul don't sound like a star hustling a new project, they sound like a human being standing at a life-defining crossroads. In hushed conversations, he has admitted with unsettling certainty that he has encountered what he calls the ultimate love of his life. That title isn't handed out lightly, and every gaze has shifted to the luminous Cemre. But this declaration is no swan song of simple bliss. It's a battlefield. Those closest to Gökberk describe him as living in a tempest of duality. On one side, he strides as someone who has finally seen daylight after a long tunnel, convinced his future speaks in the gentle diction of Cemre's name. On the other, he drags chains that, while invisible, weigh down every step. It's not merely an old romance to file away. It concerns the mother of his children, the woman with whom he built a home from scratch and filled it with years of shared laughter and unspoken compromises. He insists that what remains now is strictly parental, a sacred duty for the well-being of the little ones. Yet who can divide the father from the former partner so neatly when feelings still sting? That is the question that keeps surfacing in silence. Now turn to the other central heart in this narrative, Cemre. For her, this isn't a fling staged by paparazzi flashes, it is a trial of courage. Picture her position, giving her heart to a man who arrives with history that breathes. Friends say she is careful, even defensive. Not because love is missing, but because fear whispers loudly. Past lessons and the sheer complexity of Gökberk's situation have taught her to armor up. So when a proposal came, it wasn't answered with a thoughtless yes, but with a quiet pause. Cemre isn't dazzled by promises that evaporate or by rings that glitter without weight. She craves certainty, signs carved in stone. To a woman as perceptive and emotionally intelligent as she is, the silhouette of his former partner cannot simply be cropped out. In her quiet hours, the haunting question is simple and brutal: has Gökberk fully closed that door? Or will I always feel like the guest in a family story that isn't mine? Cemre is studying everything with a meticulous gaze, the tone of a late-night phone call, the timing of a visit, the way he exits a room when a message pings. She is checking whether the ground beneath her is bedrock or breaking sand. And she knows that falling in love with a man committed to his children means welcoming a permanent third presence, one that cannot be wished away because parenthood is forever. In this intricate dance, another layer has taken the stage: family. The Yildirim clan, far from remaining politely neutral, has reportedly stepped forward. Unexpected whispers claim they see in Cemre a gentleness and light that Gökberk needs like air. Some say they are encouraging the relationship, even sketching outlines for a discreet ceremony no one would see until it's already happened. Family support like this can serve as a bridge when the river looks too wide to cross. But Gökberk understands that blessing alone won't erase Cemre's doubts. He needs to move from declarations to a deed. This is where our story feels like cinema. Gossip columns hum with murmurs about a grand gesture. Not a predictable dinner with candlelight and strings, but something sweeping, somewhere far from curious eyes, crafted as the perfect moment to ask Cemre to share a lifetime. And here is the detail that has made even skeptics soften: he has been taking private lessons. In what? Dance. Yes, family of whispers of Turkish stars. Imagine a man known for steely roles, staying late to learn the steps he never thought he'd try, all to surprise the woman who has changed the way he sees the horizon. He wants to move at her rhythm, to show in motion what words can't carry, to let her know she's the only music he hears when he closes his eyes. Yet we cannot overlook the quiet figure in the background, the former partner, the mother of his children. While Gökberk maps out a future, what knocks around in her thoughts? The constant communication of co-parenting is inescapable, and misunderstanding hides in every message thread. How does a mother feel when the father of her children seems desperate to remarry? Is there jealousy coiled beneath civility? Is there stoic acceptance? Or is there a mature calm we haven't witnessed yet? Gökberk has spoken plainly. He cannot pretend she doesn't exist, will not cut ties that belong to their children. It's an honest statement, but an uncomfortable one. For Cemre, loving him means sharing space with a past that stays present at the edges, a package with no returns. The press wonders how long such a triangle can stand without buckling. It demands an emotional discipline that most of us only learn the hard way. Every boundary must be clear, every promise double-checked. One lapse, one half-truth, and the story folds in on itself. While the central players live their drama behind heavy doors, a different war erupts on social media. Fans split into camps that argue day and night. On one side stand the dreamers, those who have tracked the chemistry between Gökberk and Cemre for years and who insist they are meant to find each other. To them, hurdles only prove that true love survives pressure. On the other side gather the cautious voices and the guardians of tradition. They argue that building joy on the remains of a broken past is risky, that the wounds of a separation with children do not heal on schedule. Is this fair to Cemre? Can a man begin anew if he hasn't settled every score within himself? And can a woman invest fully if the old chapter keeps leaving fingerprints on the new pages? The public debate has transformed every sighting into a trend, every rumor into a headline that refuses to cool. Even small gestures have become evidence in a case that no judge will ever rule on. A glance at a red carpet becomes a thesis, a missed appearance becomes a verdict. At this moment, what we have is a fragile truce threaded with hope. Gökberk has decided that telling Cemre he loves her is not enough. He wants to anchor it, to make a promise that lives in ink and memory. The ring he chose is said to carry a story, a design that nods to second chances, to the idea that beginnings can be chosen bravely. Cemre, for her part, seems to be changing, too. That initial armor now opens like a window. She has seen in his eyes the quiet panic of a man who found something rare and is afraid he might lose it if he blinks. Maybe, just maybe, courage can outrun fear. Maybe she is ready to take that step into uncertainty with him. Of course, readiness doesn't make the obstacles disappear. The former partner will remain part of the picture. The children deserve stability that cannot be faked. The logistics of holidays, the choreography of pickups and drop-offs, the gentle agreement on school plays and birthdays, none of that vanishes with a proposal. If anything, it becomes more important. For this to work, every adult in the room has to be bigger than their bruises, and that is the price of maturity no one can skip. And then there is the secret location we keep hearing about, a place far from the city's noise where he plans to ask the question with no script and no audience, where the only sound will be the soft echo of two people deciding whether to write a life together. The dance he's practicing is not only for spectacle, it's a promise to stay teachable, to adapt, to listen. It is the language of a man who knows that love is less about grand speeches and more about showing up in the small, humble ways that mean everything. Friends of Whispers of Turkish Stars, what we are watching is a human story at full volume. Fame gives us the frame, but inside it are the same quests that shape us all, the hunt for happiness, the weight of duty, the audacity to start again. Do you believe Cemre should say yes, choosing love in spite of its complications? Or do you think the shadows of the past loom too large over their doorway? Tell us in the comments what you would advise if you were the last friend they called before making the decision. If our deep dives into the truths behind the headlines matter to you, if you want us to keep pulling on the threads that others ignore, consider tapping that join button. It's a small gesture for you and a lifeline for our team. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet steady on the ground. We'll be watching that mysterious proposal, the quiet steps of a dance that could become a lifetime. Until next time, family, keep listening for the whispers that tell the real story and stay close, because when hearts move, you'll hear it here first.